communal houses, it was like a big apartment with one water closet and one bathroom, but in each room of this apartment lives different families. So you can imagine morning of regular communal apartment morning when everybody needs to get work at the same time, need to use the same bathroom at the same time, using common kitchen. Kitchen was one for everybody, so every family has separate dishes. They were like names written on them. Right now I can laugh about it, but before it's always was fight between families, always conflicts, because it's impossible. Even people who are relatives cannot live together. So it was absolutely separate families from separate backgrounds, separate traditions, and common life wasn't good because one family can live a little bit better, can buy a little bit different food, and somebody from another family can absorb all of this. In the morning it was just huge line to the toilet, and each family has own toilet cover. So to do that task every morning, you have to take your cover, stay in line until and do it fast. It's better to do it fast in the bathroom, because somebody will knock on the door and say, it's my turn, come out, get out. And so it's just a small picture what I just drew for you, but you can imagine it's every day happening, everybody angry. And one more fun, it's coming from work and trying to get dinner in a common kitchen when just one range with 4 lighters works and everybody needs to eat at the same time. So it was loud, dirty, swearing and all this stuff all the time. Of course, it was a lot of different food stores, supermarkets, all this stuff, but they were literally empty. I'm talking about period when Brezhnev was in power, because it was the worst period. Economic was low, and just imagine if you come inside department store and have just 2 kind of, for example, shoes. That's it. Or you buying this and everybody wearing the same clothes, or you trying to obtain something else. And it's another challenge, because to get something different or something imported from another country, you have to find special people who brought these items from ports or from overseas and trying to sell them like three times more expensive, 4 times more expensive. They bought it. Only what I can remember about propaganda, it's about a special class what we had at school during all school years. Every Monday, first class was a political class. What we need to do, we need to bring some piece of information from newspaper or what you saw on TV and just inform whole class about it. And it was very good when somebody bring something about US, for example. And usually whole information from US was how bad to live in capitalism, how much people without work in a country, how much homeless people in US. It's only what we saw through our newspaper. We didn't see any good news from overseas, from England, for example, or from especially from US. And I want to tell you, I was born in 70s. So it was end of Cold War already, but I felt it so much because only bad news came through. So when you believe in your newspapers or TV politics, you know it's very bad to live in another country. Only Soviet Union is good. Only people in Soviet Union have work and everything. Everything what's overseas is bad, miserable, dark. So it wasn't lie, but it was separation. Bad, only bad news could go through. I think it's a propaganda. You can call it propaganda because all kids know we live in Soviet Union, the happiest children alive. That was the main idea of our teachers could teach us. So I felt it like that. Me and my family, it was special because our family are Jewish, and whole politic of Soviet Union were to make everybody the same. So you could not celebrate Jewish holidays. We couldn't even we didn't have even Jewish calendar. We didn't know when holidays comes. So just my grandma was remembering it from childhood. She could remember it's September, it's Rosh Hashanah, for example. Any day of September we could celebrate it, but we need to hide. Because racism in Soviet Union was hidden, but we felt it all the time. For example, any university. For example, when I was trying to get to university, I knew it. For Jewish people, it's harder because university secretly they were allowed to get just a certain amount of Jews. For example, 20 people this year with Jewish nationality. That's it. And nationality, question of nationality it was written in our passports. So you can't hide it. In your passport, in your class journal at school, it's always was written, you Jewish. And some kids, when you saw you Jewish in your school calendar, they could laugh about it. They could. So I felt racism all the time, everywhere. First of all, we couldn't celebrate our holidays, our traditions. And second, you always have this household racism, because all neighbors knows your family is, they're Jewish, so they're different. They're afraid of you, they're looking at you strange. And I just want to tell you a small episode from my life. My sister, when she got passport when she was 16 years old, my dad thought it would be easier for her to be Ukrainian, not Jewish. So he paid somebody in police and they wrote in her passport Ukrainian. But when my sister saw it, she was so angry because she felt it's a racism to hide your religion, your nationality. It was huge fight in our house, and my dad went back to police station and changed it to Jewish, proud Jewish. And racism, it's a big reason why we came to US too. When we got interview in American embassy and somebody asked me why you want to get to US, we told we want to be Jewish and celebrate our holidays freely, without any hiding. So it's my personal question. I was 12 years old when Gorbachev came to power. He came to power after different leaders just died. They were old, and Gorbachev was younger. It was first change. We saw younger leader of the country. He was just 56. It was the youngest leader of Soviet Union, what everybody could see. And we felt the young person needs to bring something new. I was 12 years old. I was at school, but everything was changing. We start being more open. He started to be friends with Reagan. Reagan was leader of United States of America. Propaganda was easier because we saw some people from United States who just glad to see us. They're just smiling, they're opening hands, they want to hug us. And Gorbachev, of course, he did end Cold War. And everybody felt it. And all former Soviet Union people, it was still Soviet Union, but people were changed, brain were changed. Politics was still communist because Gorbachev was communist, but it was a new communist. He knew we need to be friends with other country. He started letting people go like tourists to another country to see the world. It was first what we felt. My uncle, these years, he could go to, for example, still socialism country, but different, to Bulgaria, to West Germany, all the stuff. And they came back. Nobody was afraid to talk about it, to talk truth. he started perestroika. So perestroika is like change of whole political system in the country. It was, of course, it was hard because, for example, my grandpa, he was very strict communist. He couldn't accept it. He couldn't accept it. He didn't like even to watch Gorbachev on TV. But he knew it's something. It will be better for people, even him. And once Gorbachev came to power, it took my grandpa 2 years to accept it. And after 2 years, he just came to communist. It was building, like government building. He came there. He brought his communist identification. He just put it on a table and told them, "I'm not communist anymore." It was 2 years after Gorbachev came to power. So that's what I felt on my family.